I know he's an Everton boy, but I think for me, Liverpool is the perfect one for him.
Do you feel like Marco Silva has any reason to fear him potentially leaving in January, or do you feel he's going to leave in the summer? Ultimately, I feel like
everyone
this is his
has a
last
price,
season.
Jimmy.
Of course, but do you think he leaves in January or the summer? Because I don't think this is his last season with Fulham. That's essentially where I'm getting at, Benge.
Not January. I would be really surprised. I don't want to say anything for certain, but he's going to cost you a lot of money. And I don't really see there being a team that feel like they have to do that move now, because you are talking about the best of the best. Manchester United have not got the money. And, if I was Robinson, I'd probably want to see where they are at the end of the season. Are they top 5 in the Champions League?
Yeah.
I feel like Liverpool will be in the mix as well. And Fulham aren't under pressure to sell. They've sold Mitrovic, they've sold Palhinha, and they've got something really fun going on at Craven Cottage. I mean, if you guys get to London, do try and get yourself out to a game, not just to see Robinson, but to see guys like Iwobi, Smith Rowe, Raul Jimenez. It's a lot of fun there. But yeah, I think there will be a deal to be done, I'm sure, in the summer for a lot of money. And I think Fulham's benchmark should be Arsenal paid 50 million for Calafiori. Man City paid, was it 50 million for Guardiola? That should be their price.
Wow.
So for a 27-year-old left back, American international, it seems like he's taken the Premier League by storm for sure. But if you're looking at the next step, and we talk about Champions League football, which club suits him best? Because we had a conversation this morning on Morning Footy, and we thought, if Theo Hernandez leaves, and it's been floated around, Milan is a good fit, but Milan's not going to be playing Champions League. It doesn't look like, at least. So
they're not, Charlie.
In your mind, what would be the best next step for Antonee Robinson? Which club best suits his skill set?
Well, not just his skill set, but I know he's an Everton boy, but I think for me, Liverpool is the perfect one for him, because he could be. Robinson doesn't invert into midfield that much, but he does sometimes sort of make a bit of a back three. And I'm sure that's something that Slot would like to be able to do with his left back. Robertson isn't the guy that he used to be. And I know that I always think of Jedi as quite a young 27. He's had those injuries. I think you would get good mileage out of him. So he seems to me like a really good fit for Liverpool, a bit of a homecoming. I don't know. And I should have asked him when I spoke to him, but I don't know how his family would
have any reservations.
Yeah, exactly. But here at CBS, we know about some Evertonians that do great things in a Liverpool shirt. Guys like Jamie Carragher.
Benge, it's all about the money. It's all about the dollar bills.
Exactly. And it's it is a homecoming, isn't it? It's back in the city where your career began, where it nearly ended. What a brilliant story. I think he would excel there. He would be a very valuable piece of a team that could win the Premier League, could win the Champions League every year.
Jimmy said he should go to MLS, by the way.
I didn't say that. Was two other former national team players.
Hey, let me throw this. Is it so crazy to think now that you're talking Man City, because I feel like Man City has made up left backs from who was it before Zinchenko? There was they played in the mid Fabian Delph, right? He was a midfielder who converted to a left back. Zinchenko, he converted to a left back. Ake, or he's a more left-sided player. Gvardiol, I feel like they're always making up the left back position. Is it that far-fetched to think Man City?
It's not unimaginable to me at all. I mean, also Pep has basically used Gvardiol as a left back when he's played left back. It's up and down the flank, and what I would like about Robinson is almost thinking of someone on the opposite flank who could offer a bit of what Kyle Walker at the peak of his powers did. Robinson's not that quick, but he is someone that's got that nous reading the game out of possession. And I wonder if he could, quite often when I've, see him quite a lot now in a Fulham shirt, he likes to step up and win the ball high. But with Pep coaching him, could he be someone that is more the last line, the sweeper, a la Kyle Walker? That would be interesting. But for me, yeah, I feel like Liverpool is the perfect fit. And I saw someone in the comments there say Real Madrid. I mean, if they fancy him, they should absolutely go for him. I'm I'm no great believer in Furlan Mendy, and I don't think Madrid are. So why not get yourself a real superstar?
Fran
and
Garcia
imagine the
is
shirt
not
sales.
The answer there. Woo!
So Benge, I got a question because we know that you're. Maybe you can backtrack now, but not the biggest fan of Christian Pulisic. So would you say that Antonee Robinson is the best player the U.S. has, or do you think Christian is still the guy? I stumped him, everybody. I got him.
That's a good question. I wasn't the biggest
went
fan
like
of Christian Pulisic last season because what he was doing then looked like it wouldn't replicate, but now, like, this guy's a star.
He's back in track. He's backtracking everybody.
I'm still going to be that very classic English journalist and say
I told you
that,
so, and say Antonee Robinson's the best. He plays in the Prem.
I was going to say just the second bit. Antonee Robinson plays in the Prem, but I mean, I've just seen him do it against Saka and Salah, and there are some really high quality defenders that Pulisic comes up against in Serie A every week. I'm not disputing that. But I have just seen Robinson do it against probably the two best right wingers in the world, two of the top three. So,
Tony's not happy with you. You're rubbishing the Serie A, the league that had all the Champions League participants and Europa League. And
I don't love doing that.
You're rubbishing Serie A. Oh, good Lord. Go ahead, Tony.
You did see him split the entire Inter defense, right, in the derby. You did. See that, right?
I don't.
If you watch the documentary, you'll see it. They'll break it all down. It's on Paramount Plus. The documentary.
I don't doubt that. I mean, like, compared to maybe when I was coming on this show 2 or 3 years ago.
The Real Madrid game. Did you catch that one by chance?
That was really good. Yeah, but is it as good as doing it against Brighton? That would be my question.
There you go. Old Wednesday night.
It's a better position. Like, and I mean, like, if you play Pulisic off the left, that left flank is going to be devastating, and it's perfectly set up, from Poch's perspective, to have one guy that is I would think a more orthodox up down left back, and that frees Christian to get inside and really attack and create from there. Best of both worlds. And I mean, I have to say, I'm picking one over the other, but it's a harder task than when you guys were asking. Well, actually, it's not as hard a task as when you guys were asking me to pick out a good US striker. Because there's so many options now. But I mean, 2 players right now who are at the top of their game, and I'm picking Robinson, but I know that I am Premier League coded, as the kids would say.
Hey, we get it. Don't worry. I also wanted to ask, because Weston McKennie had a little stint at Leeds. It didn't go as according to plan, but it seems like there might be some interest for him as well, because considering how well he's done at Juve and continues just to fight and makes his mark in Champions League matches. Do you see him coming to the English Premier League again, and with any club in particular?
Oh, that's a really good one. I have to say, I thought he found that time so trying that I would wonder if he would want to come back. But was that just the Leeds of it, or was that the whole Premier League? Because kind of like you're alluding
probably
to
the club, right? Like if you're playing for Tottenham, if you're playing
the situation. I mean, the situation was dire at that point too.
Yeah, I think he's got a perfect skill set for it. Where he would need to be coming though would be just to get the regular game time. Would probably be lower half of the Premier League, and is that as much value to him as fighting for those minutes at Juventus? I don't know. It can be really hard, like parachuting into a bottom half of the Premier League team after January, because things can go really badly wrong really quickly. So he seems to be getting good minutes, and I've just seen him in the Champions League do some pretty amazing stuff. So I think there's a little more value in that
against one Manchester City.
It was quite impressive.
Yeah,
I mean, but doesn't that just show you how bad things are for Man City, that they're letting in 2 goals against Juventus?
Yeah,
to Americans, no less. Yeah, how can they even?
I know, it gets worse. That's when Pep should have quit.
We had Americans combined for a sick volley. You know what? We're out. I'm going to retire now. Stop scratching my head with my fingernails.